Hey guys, so about a week ago, maybe a little bit more, I finally got to see Oz the Great and Powerful. This is basically it's not official canon in the story, at least not that I'm aware of. It's basically the story of how the Wizard of Oz became the Wizard of Oz. The story is basically about Oscar Diggs, also known as Oz, played by James Franco, who is a traveling carnival magician with aspirations to be not just a good man, but a great man. Anyway, he does his show. People think he's a fraud. People think he's a scam artist. A lot of people just don't like him. Even his own friends. And basically, much like Dorothy, he ends up getting sucked through a tornado in his hot air balloon and taken to the magical and colorful land of Oz. I love the fact that they do the whole opening scene in black and white. And so once he's there, he learns that he's this wizard who was prophesied would come and help save the land of Oz from an evil witch, and he learns about the witches that live there. Seen the trailer, you know the witches. There's Evanora, they're played by Rachel Weisz. There's Theodora, played by Mila Kunis. And there's Glinda, played by Michelle Williams. And I can't say too much about what happens. There's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, but a lot of really interesting stuff happens. Basically, Oz gets to the Emerald City and finds out that he will only be granted, lordship or kingship. He'll be the ruler of Oz only if he defeats the Wicked Witch. And I have to admit, they did a really good job paying tribute to one of the most classic and iconic film villains in history. So what I think? Really, I loved the movie. It was visually amazing. It was just a lot of fun to sit through. It was just a really fun movie. Everybody does a good... I keep stressing this is not a remake of The Wizard of Oz. First of all, Dorothy's not in it. Second, this is about the wizard. And third, any movie I've seen that's been dubbed The Wizard of Oz, I just say is an adaptation. It's not an official remake. It's not, anything that L. Frank Baum had in mind. It was just an adaptation of that story. And I thought it was awesome. There's some great visual effects. I loved a lot of the characters. My favorite character in the movie was China Girl. How can you not like China Girl? She was adorable. Especially when you consider the fact that her counterpart in the real world, because they did that in this movie too, is a little girl in a wheelchair. Apparently, she and her family saw one of Oz's acts, and they thought that not only is he a wizard, he's a miracle worker! So, they immediately assume, can you make my daughter walk? And he has to back out because he's like, I can't do that! But you're a wizard! You're a god among men! I'm sorry, I don't know if they're just really that clueless or if they really believe in him. I don't know. But, yeah, in the end, he goes to Oz and he meets China Girl, and she's this cute little porcelain doll whose legs are broken when they find her, ironic. And he's able to glue them back together, and she's like, I want to help, I'm tough. And she is just so cute, and just, you believe that this cute little China Girl can be tough, can be strong, and I just love that about her. I did like, there was a love triangle between, Oz. He gets kind of mixed up, but he flirts with every woman in this movie. And he gets mixed up in a little love triangle between Theodora and Glinda. Which is kind of funny. I didn't think Glinda had time for dating. But they that was a really interesting take on the story there. I don't know if that made any sense, but just how that love triangle played out really worked. I did like Finley. He raises a lot of questions. I mean, you have the flying monkeys from the original movie, and you have the Winky guards. But since Finley's a flying monkey in a bellhop uniform, you kind of wonder how that fits in and how the whole... You realize none of this stuff was ever meant to be explained. It's just a magical land. But you sit there and you look at Finley and you're just like, how did they make that work? I mean, how do you have a monkey in a bellhop uniform? One thing I remember hearing people complain about was there's a scene in the end where the wizard is teaching everybody mechanics, like engineering and gunpowder and using pyrotechnics, and everyone was like, they're going into Army of Darkness. I mean, that's what Ash did with the medieval people. And I'm like, this is Oz. It's magical, but it's also a steampunk universe. Of course they're gonna have engineering. I was like, I did not see that when I first saw it. People had to start saying it, and I was like, you know what? They're making too much out of nothing. So just go over that. So guess what? Let's get over that. So in all of this rambling, what do I have to say about the movie? I thought it was awesome. I'd definitely give it at least 9 out of 10 stars. I definitely recommend you go see it. There are a lot of scary moments and a lot of scenes where stuff comes out at you from the camera because, you know, they were doing the whole 3D thing. But, you know, I mean, leave some of the little kids at home and take them to see something that won't scare them or scar them for life. But I do definitely recommend this movie to anybody who loves Wizard of Oz, who loves fantasy movies, or if you're a fan of any of the actors in this movie, because they all do just a great job. And yeah, maybe I should go watch The Wizard of Oz again real soon. Alright. I will try to get back to you guys later. Until then, I will see ya.